Okay, I would say let's start. Welcome to Breaking DePIN, the physical AI unConference. I have the honor to make the welcome speech and give a very brief introduction to us and also to the topic a little bit, so that we start with a common ground. And I will also in the end show you the team behind. It's not by far not me, though I'm opening it here, and I had written a lot of emails with many of you. We are like a community, so it's a community organized event, and we're very proud that it's happening now. So let's start. I'm sorry for those who already were here yesterday for the Crypto Monday. It will be more or less a repetition, but I think we can handle this, and afterwards there will be a lot of new inputs. And for the others, let's start. So very brief intro to DePIN. So DePIN is this new vertical which is emerging in Web3 in the blockchain world, and it made quite some headlines in the recent months, and just like to illustrate some significance. Nevertheless, so what are DePINs? So DePINs, they are all about building these global infrastructure networks. This can be 5G, can be RTK networks, storage networks, and this narrative of DePIN started basically with Helium. Helium is such a blockchain network which incentivized people to place physical devices, like hardware devices, all over the world. And you see these green dots here on the map. This is basically a person, a hobbyist, who took a station and placed them into their home. Yeah, and so it's kind of building these physical networks. And what DePINs have in common, they basically use crypto economics. Yeah, so crypto economics are token incentives, decentralized governance, and the properties of the blockchain, like immutability, transparency, and these different aspects. And they use it to build a network which in the end incentivizes people to place these infrastructure networks. So now, what is a DePIN? So maybe another view on it. So very quickly, so take one, we can take here an example. When it comes to GPS, yeah, so for example, GPS is only accurate up to 2 meters. Yeah, so if you want to have a higher precision, you need to place such reference receivers, which are like an antenna on the top of your roof. And so what these antennas do, they receive the same GPS signals as your phone would, yeah, but they calculate a correction term, because you're not so accurate, because there's some errors in the atmosphere, like weather conditions. So these reference receivers, they calculate a correction term and they share them with you, for example. And so that you can find your accurate position in sub-seconds in a millimeter, centimeter realm. And what now one DePIN project is doing, they're basically incentivizing people to place these reference stations, because you need every 20 kilometers such a station. And that's one example. So DePINs are about these physical assets, as with Helium, as with onocoy here. The second take is, there were some errors in the slide. The second take is that DePINs are actually these three-sided markets. Yeah, so you have a supply side, so a community placing these stations on the ground. But then you have also different people building a product, a service out of these contributions, and then you have customers on the other end. And this gets quite challenging and complex, because on the supply side you usually have crypto degens or very enthusiastic people, technical people who kind of contribute these devices. And on the demand side you have traditional industries, sometimes very conservative. So, and kind of bringing everything under one umbrella is hard. It's quite complex. And because it's such a complex network, here's an example of how WiHi is doing it. I will skip this for a second. But because it's such a complex system, what DePINs use, they use decentralized governance. So they're not trying to steer the network too much in a top-down control method way, but they use different types of governance. So for example, DAOs, the concept of a DAO, and what it does in the end, it reduces operational expenditures in these networks. So by having the community, for example, owning these stations, the company, or the entity behind, does not need to maintain these stations. The community does it, take care of them, and this reduces operational cost drastically. And the fourth dimension are these tokens. So DePINs use tokens as an incentive. which in the end reduces capital expenditures. So the community basically crowd finances this investment cost into the network, and these tokens can also function as an information signal, which can result in enhanced self-organization in these networks. So for example, community members, they receive these tokens for contributing station data, but if they do a mistake in the setup, they will receive less tokens, and they kind of have incentive to optimize it. So they will try to find ways on how to improve their setups, and so this network over time improves. Okay, so this was towards DePIN. Now let's check my time very quickly. Okay, good. Now, why we're here in Switzerland, and why DePIN makes sense here in Switzerland. Let me go into this. So who knows what this is? Yeah, it says spoilers. But yeah, you like, what is this? Yes, but which tunnel? It's a Gotthard tunnel. So it's like a very famous tunnel here in Switzerland. It basically connects the Italian part with the German-speaking part and the French-speaking part here in Switzerland. Kind of bridges the gap between cultures, and it was a massive effort like 150 years ago. Yeah, so like was quite of a major project which was conducted here in Switzerland. And what many people don't know is actually that this tunnel in the end facilitated many of the institutions which are now kind of characterizing the Swiss economy, for example. So like in order to finance this tunnel, like the Kreditanstalt was founded, which then became Credit Suisse. So kind of the talking point here is like there was first the vision for infrastructure in the 1850s, and because there was this vision to build the infrastructure, the financial hub in Switzerland emerged. Yeah, so kind of the infrastructure facilitated the emergence of the financial hub for which Switzerland is famous now. But also ABB, for example, they did the electrification in the tunnel. They got really a good reputation in the world that they're able to conduct such a project. And also ETH Zurich was quite young, also founded in the 1850s, 60s. And basically this tunnel was constructed by engineers from ETH Zurich. And they got this world-renowned fame, reputation that they're able to build such a tunnel. And this engineering reputation of ETH Zurich basically was born with that tunnel. So, and what this basically says is that in the end, the physical infrastructure, I think all over the place, but in particular in Switzerland, is the foundation for Switzerland's cultural and economic success. And the thing is now, we believe that DePIN will do the same. Yeah, so it's again a vision for infrastructure. And what will emerge out of this, I think, is by now still not so clear. But these institutions, which will be built on top of this infrastructure, will get big in this digital age. So that's like kind of how we picture it. So if DePIN succeeds, this might be the outcome. And now linking it to the narrative of this unConference with our topic is basically this view that DePIN is actually building the physical AI stack. Yeah, so like we have like a lot of different DePIN projects on all these different verticals. So we have projects building energy networks. They will also be speaking here today, like Power Ledger, Aegis Alliance will be here. Also a person from Fifth World telling you how they do it. We have connectivity networks, which basically connect different entities. We have sensors. We saw the example of onocoy. Silencio is also speaking today. Kudis is sponsoring some rings as a gift, so you will also get to see them. So like they are collecting environmental data, different types of data. This data needs to be stored. DePIN's also building this, storage networks. Then you can have compute on top of storage. We have DePIN's projects building compute networks. Then you have projects using this compute power to do predictions, to do AI, machine learning, and on top, robots who can use the intelligence, the physical AI manifestations, and in the end, and who themselves can also be a DePIN. So like swarm robotics is a topic. We have like, I think Andrea here, who will talk about it, and his colleague. So like quite intriguing times, I think. So, and we are here to discuss it. The Swiss DePIN ecosystem is already quite large. So we have like 24 projects building here actively in these sectors, 6 sectors as illustrated. And we had 3 DePIN Days already conducted in the recent months. So something like what we're doing today, but in a smaller setup, usually just 1 day. Now we have 2 days. And the unConference basically starting today. Okay. In these DePIN Days, which we had in the past, our motivation was always to bring different actors together. Like from infrastructure companies with Belimo here, Axpo will also speaking today again. Stein-Walter is present today also. So they're kind of people from like companies from the established Swiss industries, and we connect them with DePIN startups. Academia, I'm very proud. I think we have like 20 to 30% speakers who are like well-known professors from ETH Zurich, University of Zurich, University of Leeds. We had someone traveling in, University of Constance. So like they will give their view, kind of giving a more so grounding on which DePIN could possibly build. And then we have the ecosystem, different parties who supported these DePIN Days. And the same we're now doing with the unConference. So we're trying to increase this momentum. So we have today, we call it a classic pre-conference. Yeah, so it's like kind of a classic conference. So we have many, many inputs, ideas to have them very short so that you all hear each other speak, most of you. So like that you get to know each other. And then tomorrow we will meet here in this room in a big circle, and then we will shape and drive DePIN and physical AI together forward by solving questions we might carry with us or having ideas how to push everything forward. This will take place tomorrow, and it's actually the core of the conference. So I think, so I'm very much excited also for tomorrow. We have 40 plus speakers, like in 1 day on 2 stages. Here we have the mainframe stage. On the other side, we have the cypherpunk stage, and they will be divided in both. It was very difficult whom to place where. So like, and I think the size of the stage doesn't mean something. So it's like, in the end, the main motivation of the conference is like we're all equal and we're driving the topic together forward. And very happy. So we have physical AI speakers, we have DePIN speakers, we have also people from regulation, so like who know how to maybe instantiate the systems in the real world, also from a regulatory point of view. So a lot of things to learn. Thanks to our sponsors and supporters. Of course, our main one, which is Aegis Alliance, onocoy, and Solana. And then we have our builders and the community, the larger Web3 ecosystem here in Switzerland and abroad. Okay, so this is like how it will look like tomorrow. Like we will be sitting in such a circle. Now we will hear from experts and practitioners in the field. And we have a website that you can check out. And the main thing I wanted to also say, so it was a very quickly designed slide, but this is a community event. Yeah, so like we really went to the extremes of our resources. So we spent a lot of time voluntarily on this event, and we are very happy now that you honor it by your presence. And we are quite a few people. So like I think 9 by now, and there's still some others in the background helping. So I would say very big round of applause for everyone who's helping here.